I accidentally re-traumatized my wife in the worst way possible and now she is refusing to speak to me. How can I make this right? So my wife has been through a lot of stuff. She suffers greatly from childhood trauma of being kidnapped and held hostage for days on end, and we have done all we can to help her overcome it. It has worked fairly well, but an unintentional mistake I made has reversed all the progress we have made and more. So, recently I made a friend named David at the gym. We got on well and the friendship started to translate outside of just being gym buddies. We regularly hung out after work or after the gym. He seemed like a bit of an oddball and was hesitant to speak of his past, so I just let it go and did not pry much if he ever seemed hesitant when talking about it. I figured he was just traumatized too and working to overcome it. So, fast forward to 3 weeks ago. I invited David over to my house to have dinner with me and my wife. My wife and I were cooking dinner, and at some point my sister-in-law called, saying that her 7-year-old who was at our house earlier left her favorite toy there. My wife, being the angel that she is, offered to drive over right now with the doll. And so my wife left the house to return the doll. While my wife was away, David arrived. All was going well, David and I were catching up and laughing, and then my wife got back home and saw David. She just suddenly started screaming, just raw blood-curdling screams were coming out of her. She was shouting at David to get out and waving a knife around. I was in shock, I basically froze myself as I had never seen her like this before. David left and I tried to ask her what happened. But she couldn't talk, it seemed like she was having some sort of attack. I called for an ambulance and she was admitted at the hospital for having a severe panic attack. She was hospitalized for 3 days and she did not speak the entire time to literally anyone. On her release date she just left. And no one would tell me where she was. I called everyone we know and no one would speak to me or tell me where she was. I knew I had done something. I knew David was not a random man, but I could not figure out what was happening no matter how hard I tried. Then, her sister texted me a long explanation. It turns out that David was the man who took her hostage for 9 days when she was 12 and then stalked her for 7 years until he went to prison for an unrelated crime.